What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason, Joe, and Crams are here. Side 3 today. It's a combination, Side 3 and Judge and Jury, the new series that we premiered about the Stones a couple days ago. Today's topic is going to be the classic debate, Maiden or Priest. Cram's going to be serving as the judge today.
That's correct. I'm on the fence. I'm the one who doesn't know what to pick. I don't have the bold of controversial opinion for once.
So I am going to be arguing for Iron Maiden, Iron, as we might say here in Pittsburgh, and Joe's got Priest. He's wearing the shirt, so he's required to take that side.
Correct. And I think I would like an opening statement from each of you. Brief, Joe, for the love of God, brief, Joe. And then we'll commence. Both.
Okay, I'll kick things off. I'll make it brief. After Black Sabbath, Judas Priest is the most important metal band of all time. Without them, there would be no Iron Maiden. They are the originators of the new wave of British heavy metal, thrash. Their influence on the metal world cannot be overstated. They are slightly, I'm not going to say hugely, because it's a razor thin margin, but they are slightly better and definitely more important than Iron Maiden.
Jason?
For me, Maiden, because of consistency, really. I think they knew who they were from the beginning, and they had a sound, and they did it well, and they kept doing it well, and they kept the bar high. And Priest, I think, they tried different things. They would be commercial on one album, and then they would get really heavy, and then they'd do a synth record, and then they'd do something else heavy again. And their catalog, I think, just feels all over the place to me. And, they had some great records in there, but for me, Maiden they always delivered.
Joe, do you think that what he just mentioned, that creativity and diversity and willing to try other things, is what pushes Judas over the edge?
Astute observation, Judge. That is indeed why Judas Priest is a greater band. I will give Jason this. Iron Maiden's peak was superior. Number of the Beast to Seventh Son of the Seventh Son is a pretty much unimpeachable run of albums. I will give him that. However, it is very singular in its sound. They found a sound and they stuck with it. But in the greater overall sense of things, I think that is a weakness because that's really all they could do. And Judas Priest, they were messier. They started off almost as a blues heavy metal band with Rock-a-Rolla. They tried different things. They went a little proggy on Sad Wings of Destiny. They went 70s hard rock on Sin After Sin, laid the template down for thrash metal with Dissident Aggressor, Stained Class, Killing Machine. Just the way they were able to vary their sound. They did 80s metal really well with Turbo and Ram It Down. And when that sort of faded from the purview, they came back with Painkiller and reset the template for what heavy metal could be and should be. And their reunion albums might not be quite as strong as Iron Maiden's, but I think Angel of Retribution, Through Firepower, are all very good, respectable metal albums. So, the sweep of history from 1974 until 2018, it's Judas Priest. Iron Maiden does their thing, and they do it very well, but they do not have the creativity that Priest has or the influence.
Well, I think maybe if we were talking about indie rock or art rock or something like that, the creativity and willingness to experiment argument might play a little better, but we're talking about metal here, and metal fans, I think, as they've shown time and time again, they want the straight ahead metal. They don't want synths on their records. And I think if you know what the people want and give the people what they want, then you should be rewarded with the title of best metal band. And yeah, that's what Maiden did. They give it to you every time. And Maiden, for me, I think you got their peak stretch, but they also have records outside of that I think are better than any Priest record. Brave New World got to 4 stars for me. No Priest record did. So,
well, it's obvious who has the better double album. Senjutsu's awesome, and Nostradamus is not. Make a case, unless you disagree, who's the better frontman?
Well, I think clearly Rob Halford is the superior frontman. His range, his dynamicism, just who he is, his ability to at one point sing about S&M and leather and gay fantasies basically, and another sing about the avenging angel of Painkiller, and do both with such aplomb that his range, his ability to do the highs, the lows, the Freddie Mercury's, his own kind of evil Elvis stuff, the scream. I mean, he is a superior frontman. He's a little more interesting. The leather and studs look, only he can pull that off. I mean, no disrespect, but nobody can pull off what Rob Halford can pull off. He's completely unique and above, I think, pretty much every other metal singer of all time.
No. Bruce Dickinson, I think, as someone who has seen Halford live, basically he just trudges around in his trench coat. Like he does cool stuff. He'll ride out on his motorcycle, but beyond the stage production, he doesn't do a lot. He just kind of walks around. He'll like go up the steps. There were staircases for the set when I saw them. But Dickinson is so animated. He's flying around. He's up on the monitors. He's doing big gestures with his arms. He's playing to the back of the house. So, yeah, for me, for showmanship, Halford doesn't touch Dickinson. Granted, he does have a bigger vocal range, but I would also argue that Dickinson does more with what he has than what Halford does with his enormous vocal range and being able to hit those high notes. I think Dickinson does a better job of pulling you into the story of the songs with his vocal delivery. He does all these kind of like historical type fantasy songs, and I think the way he delivers those songs so theatrically just is far more captivating than anything Halford does.
Closing arguments, gentlemen?
Closing argument is Iron Maiden just wouldn't exist without Judas Priest. A lot of their style, the twin guitar attack, the theatricality, the operatic vocals, a lot of it is from the Judas Priest template. They set the template. They were just more versatile. They could do a much greater range of material. Their catalog is much more interesting to listen to. You don't get kind of caught in that one note. You can cover everything from 70s metal to thrash metal to 80s pop metal, to Nostradamus, I guess. I mean, I shouldn't have even mentioned Nostradamus because it's sort of a point in Jason's favor. But between the guitars, KK Downing, Glenn Tipton, their constant progression, they're adding new techniques all the time. They're just more interesting. Everything about Judas Priest is a little bit more interesting than Iron Maiden, who, granted, perfected their style and probably perfected the new wave of British heavy metal sound, but that is kind of all they did. They were a little more one note. Judas Priest, they did it all. They did it all very well. And they are the originators of the sound. So you got to give them a slight razor thin win in the battle of these metal titans, metal gods.
Jason, closing arguments, sir.
I think they just have far more better records. I've got 4 Maiden records at 4 stars, 0 Judas Priest album at 4 stars. I think if you take the best songs of each of their catalogs, I think Maiden crushes Judas Priest. I think, 50 songs deep and you're still better than probably my 10th favorite Judas Priest song. And as far as not being interesting, I disagree. I think, especially on those early records, You've got like a little bit of punk influence even infiltrating those early Maiden records, which I think is really cool. I think it's a different attitude that Judas Priest never really shows off. So I just think the depth, the strength of the best stuff is better just all around. And the guitar playing, I probably, it's close. Tipton and Downing are great, but I think the Maiden guitarists have more great solos than the Priest players.
All right, guys, good arguments. Joe's best argument is the creativity. Jason's rebuttal to that is, hey, it's metal. It's never going to be that much different. I actually think that Jason is right that Dickinson is more lively on stage, but I kind of like the more darker mystique that Rob brings. What it comes down to for me is if you take the 20 best songs from both these bands, I'm going to have more to choose from Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden barely wins this argument for me. There are no real losers, though. I'm really happy that we dove deep into both of those artists because, I mean, the album that Senjutsu made like my top 20. I mean, it's awesome. I think that British Steel is awesome. I think Painkiller is awesome. But just on the song quality alone, and that's really the only thing I'm going for, is like my favorite songs by Iron Maiden just edge out my favorite. But album-wise, it's pretty even. Playing's pretty even. I probably like Rob more as a frontman. It's really the songs that it comes down to. So, really good argument, gentlemen. Iron Maiden is slightly better, but Joe's right. They can say thanks for getting us, putting the gas in our car, Judas Priest. So that's what I've come down to. That's my ruling.
All right, I'll accept that ruling.
And I won that without even playing the better bass player card, which I think Maiden takes quite easily.
Okay, well, who's a better drummer?
Simon Phillips.
All of Judas Priests. And come on, Tipton and Downing are superior to Murray and Smith.
Especially you add in Yannick, the 3 guitar attack that they've been playing.
It's a waste of an extra guitar.
Gentlemen, I've ruled.
Order in the court.
Order in the court. I will hold you both in contempt.
This is a metal court. We do not do order here.
I did. Well, you said a plum, so the metalness is already out the window.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Let us know which band you prefer down in the comments, Maiden or Priest. Or is there a third contender that should be in consideration? Let us know. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and check out the video description: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, website, Patreon, and merch. We'll see you in the next one.